Hi, my name is Shane. I use she and her pronouns, and this is our fourth and final session of Apocalypse Keys, a game that's in playtesting by Jamila Najati from Evil Hat Games. And this session was organised as part of the Gauntlet gaming calendar. The Gauntlet is an online community that organises and plays a whole lot of different story games, indie games, and OSR games. If you are interested in finding out more or playing some games with us, we would love to have you. Just check out gauntlet-rpg.com. And at the end of June, so about a month from now, we have one of our semi-regular Gauntlet community open gaming weekends, where there will be a whole bunch of one-shots or other short games that are all free, all using safety tools, and anyone who would like to participate is welcome. A great chance to sort of try out some Gauntlet games before you jump into the community. And you can find more information about that through, again, gauntlet-rpg.com. Just want to mention before we start that the game we're playing today also uses safety tools. So we've established some lines and veils. We're using the X card and the open door. If you're watching the video, just to be aware, kind of content notes for today's session is that there's likely to be violence, references to alcohol and tobacco use, and possibly some body horror and gore. That said, I will ask my players to introduce both themselves and their characters. So let's just go left to right across the character keeper. So the usual kind of name, pronouns, what we should know about you situation. Matthew, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Matthew. I go by he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Sebastian today, or Sebastian in my head, actually. Sebastian is of the Surge playbook. He is a powerful angelic being who is without a master, without a god to answer to, and now he is frequently tempted to punish the world for, the dethroning of his master. Yeah.
Great. Drew?
I am Drew. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Zero, the Found, who is a mysterious, mostly man-shaped being who doesn't know much about his past from before he was found by Division in a facility that performed cruel experiments on him. But he seems to have some kind of tie to dreams, which might come in handy. With the current situation.
Great. And Josh?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Josh. He, him, his. And I am playing Asag. Asag was once a god. Asag is no longer a god. Asag is not pleased about this about this happenstance. But while Asag is not a god, Asag has been bound to this organization. It works for them grudgingly. In their imperfect mortal form, dreaming of returning to the heavens. That is Asag's deal. Asag is not a great people person.
Nice way to put it. Thanks, everyone. So just to recap where we're at in the story, the organization that you all work for is called Division, and a group of mysterious infiltrators has seized control of Division headquarters. They are searching for something, we don't know what yet, that could mean the end of the world on behalf of a harbinger of the apocalypse. Again, don't know what it is that they're looking for or who that harbinger is, but you know that you must stop them. You also know that you seem to be trapped in some sort of time loop, and you seem to be trapped in some sort of dream world. Division HQ is not how it should be, not how you remember it. And Asag and Zero, I think Sebastian is just outside, have come to some sort of old-fashioned smoking lounge, which is several levels below where the building should, stop, where the basement should be. Kronos, and John sadly could not be with us today. Kronos has entered a set of mysterious photos you found, and presumably at this point will remain there for the remainder of the session. You suspect, or at least some of you suspect, that this may be connected somehow to Asag convincing Zero to steal some top secret super weapons from Division, which you did by hiding them in the dreams of the headquarters building itself. I guess I just wanted to start out. So these were the weapons that Division was hoarding in case they ever needed to put a stop to any of you. Asag, what was the weapon Division had to use against you?
I think that there is a clay sarcophagus. And inside of the clay sarcophagus is the mummified skeleton of a child who was at one point the high priestess of Asag, and that is what binds Asag in some way to Division. And that is what has been stolen. The sarcophagus is gone.
Well, so far I think that we have it. The infiltrators are looking for these weapons, but as far as we know, they're still wherever Zero left them.
Yes.
Um,
The sarcophagus is wherever Zero hid the sarcophagus. But it is gone from where it was before then.
Yes, exactly.
Is what I meant.
Right. So there's a couple of mechanical things that I still need to pay off from last session, just to confirm that I haven't forgotten these. Sebastian, you had found a clue with a complication, or a key, sorry. And Asag has both a consequence coming from your inevitable rise, but also I have to tell you what dark and terrifying entity has answered your call from last time. So those things are all coming. But I think I'll start with Sebastian. So you were just outside the door that Asag and Zero went through. You had kind of tried to probe this strange cat that has been following you around. And like I said, you rolled a key with a complication. I think what happens is you reach out to connect with this cat, and you don't find anything. There's nothing in there, not even the kind of cat-like, soul or presence that you might expect. And when you kind of come back to your own senses, you realize that the cat is gone. And lying on the ground where the cat was a moment ago is a Betamax videotape. The complication, or at least the first part of the complication, is that for this to count as a key mechanically, you're going to need to find somewhere that you can play a Betamax videotape. You know that there is a surveillance room upstairs if Division HQ is still as you remember it, which has all kinds of playback technologies available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other thing you notice is that there are two figures standing at the top of the flight of stairs that you're at the bottom of. They're both wearing dark grey suits, and where you would expect to see their heads, they have sort of large pairs of scissors floating above the necks above the collars of their shirts, and the scissors begin to sort of flap open and close like they're cutting the air, as if in some sort of communication, and they both start running towards you. What do you do?
Oh, Jesus Christ. And we probably need a content warning for language, of course.
Oh, I take that as given.
All right. Yeah. I guess I will try to get out of their way. You know what? I will power through darkness to avert imminent danger.
But what are you doing specifically?
What happens is a burst of a pulse of energy from Sebastian is used to sort of create this temporary. It's not a bubble, but it has a sort of shockwave effect to push them out of the way.
Okay. How many? Sorry, push them back or make them pass you by? What's the effect that this is going to have?
I like what you said. So let's say that they pass when they come closer to the bubble, or rather the radius, they will emerge on the other side through sort of like
All
a
right.
small doorway of divine energy.
All right. How many darkness tokens will you spend?
I will spend. Wait. I'll just spend the. Ooh, no darkness tokens. Why did I do that? Let's see.
Is there anything you can do in this moment before you do this that will gain you some darkness tokens?
Yeah. I will embody the condition that affects me, which apparently is reactive.
So what does that look like? How do you embody it?
I think there's no time to think as far as Sebastian is concerned. So the gesture is almost reflective. And if you want to put a dramatic spin on it, maybe there's potentially a destructive impact from reacting so suddenly.
All right. How many darkness tokens do you gain?
I will gain 3 tokens and I will spend 2.
Nice.
All right. So that's a 2d6 plus 2. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. That's a.
Ooh. So let's see. On an 11 plus, you're on the edge of disaster. Choose one. Mark a condition to exert better control of your powers, or let the keeper tell you how the situation is not under your control.
Amazing. Let's see. Okay, market condition or I think I'd like the market condition actually. Let's see. I feel like market condition. I'd say vicious. Let's market condition
Wow.
vicious. Yeah.
So you successfully sort of non-violently divert these scissor men, but then that somehow prompts you to to a new level of viciousness.
Yeah.
You're not going
I
to let
think
any more of them get away like this.
yeah, I think at that point maybe he turns Sebastian turns around and sort of like tries, since now it's a staircase, right? So now he's got the higher ground. I hate saying that because people think of a Star Wars reference when they do it, and prepared to assault them if need be.
Okay. I mean, there's also the door that Asagan Zero went through. So if you just want to go back through there, that's also an option. But
Sure.
You want to head in there?
Let's take other people's turns before we make that
All right.
decision. Yeah.
Okay. So Asagan Zero, you're in this strange old smoking lounge. There are a few doors that lead off it, as well as the one that you came in through. There's a bar. There's a library of some kind. You've both sort of engaged in different ways with this odd little man who's grumbling about the scissor men. Zero, what do you do?
So we've seen a photo of Kronos.
On a wanted poster.
I think Zero will take that wanted poster off the wall and fold it up and slip it into his jacket pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, can I grasp for keys amongst the books?
Oh, yeah, for sure. How many darkness tokens will you spend?
I think I'll just do 1.
Nice. So I think that you just get a key, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that what you find in the bookcase is a dossier containing files on several members of the division, revealing dark secrets. What's the dark secret about Zero that you see immediately in the dossier?
I think he was designated Project Hypnos.
Does that mean anything to you?
I think he's worried that it implies he wasn't found, he was made.
Nice. Asag, Zero has sort of wandered over to look at the bookcase. What are you doing?
Yeah, Asag is. Asag opens a door leading out of the smoking room. What does it lead to?
So it opens onto a hallway, but not like the hallways in Division. If you had to guess, well, I don't know if this is something a Sarg would recognize necessarily, but it looks like a hallway in a luxury hotel. There are a bunch of doors leading off it. It has a very nice fancy carpet, unlike the plain brown carpets of the Division building itself.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's an elevator at the end of the hall.
Yeah. Asag is gonna call the elevator.
Okay. Do you call out to Zero at all, or are you just going to wander away?
I don't think that Asag calls out, but I do think that Asag is not skilled at opening doors, and I think that Zero would be able to hear the sort of racket as Asag tries to exit the room.
Nice. And Zero, do you head towards the elevator with Asag?
Yeah, and he'll just he'll kind of just insert himself between Asag and the door and open it and walk through first, kind of thoughtlessly.
All right. Sebastian, do you stay to engage these scissormen in newly vicious combat, or are you going to try and catch up with your friends?
Such temptations. I think what happens is as the elevator closes the doors, that's when Sebastian sort of slips through and is clearly sweating and and tired from what just happened.
Nice. And so you follow the others, you catch up with them as they wait for the elevator?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you like? Do you say anything to them, or do either of Asag or Zero say anything to their sweaty and clearly agitated friend?
I don't say anything. I just sort of Sebastian just sort of gives them a questioning, puzzled look and nods his head. As of is everything okay?
Zero will.
Asag sort of looks Sebastian up and down, and it says, well, you've been very active. What have you been doing since we last in the past minute?
Oh, you know how it is, chasing cats and dodging sister folk.
Asag narrows their eyes, but Asag does not know how it is.
Asag, when something about the way Sebastian mentions the Scissormen, you don't feel the normal sort of arrogance or confidence that you feel about these things. A seed of doubt is growing within you, and you have this ominous feeling that somehow these things may be able to destroy you.
That's bad. I hope not. Yeah, has the elevator arrived?
Yeah, it dings, the door's open.
Excellent. What are the are they labeled, or is it just 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, they're labeled with numbers, and there's a lower ground and a basement.
Okay.
Are you going up or down?
Ooh, that's a good question. Where are we? What floor are we on?
I think you'll find that you're on the 13th floor.
That makes sense.
And they extend. There are very, very, very many buttons. It extends all the way up to the 333rd floor. or like I say, down to the basement.
Didn't one of us sort of like try to trace the location of the cache? Cache.
The weapons.
Yeah,
I'm not
from
sure.
last session. I think that cache presumably uh has every weapon that could take care of each and every one of us, right?
Well, you also know there's a door of the apocalypse. That's the final secret extra weapon that you haven't found yet, that the harbingers here are looking for. But yeah, the most powerful super weapons that Division has, the ones that are carefully designed to be able to take out the three of you if it ever becomes necessary.
They would be grouped together, right?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe Sebastian feels out for the weapon that could destroy him.
Are you? Is that power through darkness? Like what? How do you see that?
I'd say grasp. Wait, I'm thinking grasping for keys so we can determine which direction the elevator goes for, but I'm not sure if that's appropriate.
So, I mean, grasping for keys isn't going to give you a specific answer to that question, but if it's going to, what it mechanically may produce is a key or a clue that helps you get towards the end of the mystery. So if you want a direct answer to your question, then it's more of a power through darkness. But if you want to, that's fictionally what you're doing and mechanically what you're doing is helping solve the mystery, then grasping keys probably works.
All right. Yeah, let's here's what we're gonna do. I am an asshole. I am going to summon I am your destruction.
Wow.
Yeah. And what it is I'm going to use power through darkness to try to carve a path directly to the weapons.
Wow. You okay? Okay. Love this. Go ahead and use. So you're standing in an elevator as you do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
What it is I try to create an elevator path on my own.
Nice.
All right. So it is considered a power through darkness move. And
how many darkness tokens?
Wait, but first, sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel so scatterbrained. I guess it's just I just woke up. But I'm going to use the. I'm going to be embodying my condition of vicious, and so bring myself up to 4 darkness tokens. And
so what does it look like that you're embodying your viciousness?
I just sort of like sort of like sharp intake of breath Sebastian takes and grimaces and then proceeds to move his hands to to begin his work.
Okay.
And yeah, all right. Spend darkness tokens and roll. So let's spend 2 darkness tokens. Roll. That is a 7.
So you will be able to destructively reshape your environment even on a miss because of your I'm your destruction move. But let's have a look at power through darkness. On a 7-, the keeper of the doors will offer you something connected to what the darkness demands of you. Whether or not you take it, prepare for the worst.
Yes.
So, and I understand that you are like sort of destructively rending the building that you're in so that the elevator will travel directly to where this weapons cache is hidden.
Yes.
All right. So Zero, was there a particular place in the dreamscape that you hid this? Like what did it look like, the area where you hid the weapons?
Weirdly, it's like a 1950s ice cream shop type thing. And they're behind the counter.
I love the idea that what Division headquarters dreams of being is an ice cream shop from the 1950s. That really works for me. Um, so yeah, you arrive in this 50s ice cream shop. I think you see Dr. Escher dressed as the like ice cream counter person. Um, doesn't seem to recognize you as you come in, but you can see, sort of peeking over the counter, the little pile of weaponry that you bought. There's a delicious sort of vanilla-ish smell in the air, a series of flavors. Dr. Escher will smile as you come in, seemingly not noticing the fact that an elevator has just crashed and torn through the walls of reality to arrive, taking out her front window. Can I get you anything?
Zero will walk out of the elevator looking around and say, chocolate, 2 scoops.
Dr. Escher will start serving you. Sebastian, this was your plan. What do you do?
I sort of Sebastian glowers past the. Is that the right word? Glares past Dr. Escher, and sort of like looks around, squinting to see where anything is amiss, where you can find the cash.
So, what weapons specifically do you think that Division had to deal with you if it became necessary?
All right, I think the weapon would be a spear that is made that has blood, has the blood of gods poured into it.
Nice. So I'm supposed to offer you something from your power through darkness move that is connected to what the darkness demands of you. Unless you want to spend a bond to bring that up to an 8 to 10.
No,
in which case you may get a reprieve, a golden opportunity, or a bond with someone.
You know what? Let's spend the bond on Kronos.
Okay. Well, then I think the reprieve you get is that the scissormen have not yet gotten to the cache, but you see them approaching. They're tearing through the fabric of this dreamscape, entering the ice cream shop, intent on getting their hands on all this stuff that they can use against you. Asag, you have like a bad feeling about this. What do you do?
That's a good question. Asag is going. What is it called? It's called. Asag is going to grasp for a key. They are. They are following their bad feeling, essentially, and they are looking into that. They're thinking, "Well, I have a bad feeling about this place. What's up with that?"
Okay. How many tokens will you spend?
I'm going to spend 2 tokens.
Nice. It's good, isn't it? I think that's good. You uncover a key, and the keeper will tell you what it is. So I'll get to the mechanical key in a second, but as you sort of follow this thread of doubt, this bad feeling that you have within yourself, you follow it sort of all the way back to the scene at the start of last session on the rooftop when you tried to convince Sister Teresa to worship you. And you recognize, you put it together, what it was that responded to your call and what it is, the only thing surely that could fill you with this kind of doubt. And it is your ancient rival god Quolam, who fell with you, the god of doubts and dreams, who can only be the harbinger who is here now to try and destroy you in the world.
Of course, I knew. I knew that Kolan would be back.
Mm-hmm.
We're very similar. We don't get along. We were in neighboring provinces of Sumer once upon a time, and ever since then, and hate the guy. Terrible neighbor. So yeah, great.
All right.
So the key would be the
well, I'll give you.
Prince of Kolan.
I'll give you an actual key in a minute. I just want to
Okay.
resolve the situation with the scissormen first.
Yeah.
So don't let me forget. But I do have a key coming for you. Zero. You see these wild-looking things coming, attacking. Asag just kind of, whatever it is that Asag does, doesn't seem to be really paying attention. What do you do?
Well, I think I'll use my, because it's worked so well in the past, I think I'll try and use telekinesis to keep them held back.
Mm-hmm.
So power through darkness.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to describe, when you say held back, do you just want to hold them back long enough for you all to get away? Do you want to sort of permanently freeze them where they are? What's the effect that you're going for?
At least temporarily keep them out of being a danger for us so we can figure out a better way to deal with them.
Oh, yeah, I think that your telekinesis is powerful enough that you can hold them back temporarily for a discussion. You don't need to roll for that. If you want to do something fancier, then that probably will be power through darkness. So yeah, you just sort of hold them back, and then what do you do, or what do you say?
Ooh, actually, I will listen for any surface thoughts I might have. Let's see what their intentions are here. It seems clear, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will be exactly what you think. They're excitedly thinking about how they've finally found the cache. They've got the weapons. They just need to get rid of these meddling monsters.
Ooh, yeah, that makes it pretty simple. And gonna try and telekinetically blast them into the wall.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Do you want to unleash the dark or power through darkness? I
Let's
think either of them
unleash
would
the
make
dark.
sense. All right.
That sounds like fun.
How many darkness tokens will you spend?
The last one. 8.
Nice. So you wield the darkness with control and ease. Choose 2. If you inflict a condition, that'll be enough to take them out, and then you can choose one of the others if that's what you want.
I think taking them out would be sufficient here.
All right. Cool.
Actually, could I also expose a weakness in case we see more of them?
Yes. Do you have a weakness in mind, or do you want me to suggest something?
My initial reaction is that they're susceptible to attacks with stones, but that is just me, and I'd love if you have anything more.
Well, let's make it 2 then, because I was going to suggest that they can rust and are susceptible to attacks with water. So I think water and stones both work against the scissormen.
All right.
Sebastian, what are you doing while Zero takes out the scissormen? You're muted.
I am going to wait. Is it Zero or Asag who's taking out the scissormen?
Zero.
Oh, nice. I'm considering either power. How is he handling them? Zero.
Telekinetic blasts through or into the wall.
Hmm. I'll save this other idea for later. I'm just going to use Unleash the Dark, except I'm going to use on Knife's Edge.
What is it that you're actually doing though?
I'm going to. I assume if Zero is taking out one of them with telekinetic blasts, I will.
Zero's actually taken out all of them.
Oh, that's nice. Like totally, absolutely.
Yeah, the goons are shredded.
Yikes. Okay, so here's the thing. I will. Uh, hmm. Whew. I will grasp for keys. I was tempted to use something else to grasp for keys, but I'll just use the basic grasp for keys move.
All right. So, I mean, again, what are you actually doing? Like, what does it look like?
I am going to reach out to the bodies of the scissormen and try to draw from them like information, like like the will of their master or their servant as it courses through them, and find out what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll to grasp a key.
All right, let's see. Spend darkness tokens. Let's do it. I'm spending 2 again.
Ooh. On 11 plus, you uncover a key, but there's a significant complication, cost, or fallout. The keeper will tell you what it is. Let's see.
Rolling nice today, huh? And by nice, I mean terribly.
So, I mean, first of all, I'll come back to you in just a sec. But first of all, Asag, what you find as you were also sort of searching for keys in here. You find piled up with the weapons behind the counter is, where did it go? There is a statue of an office worker embracing a keyboard with their eyes closed in bliss. Zero, have you noticed it? You didn't leave that there with the weapons and things like that. Sebastian, what do you find? You notice that all around this like 50s style diner ice cream shop type space, there are like, I'm not sure quite what you call them, those kind of black velvet paintings like stuck to the wall. The one with the dogs playing poker is up there. There's a few others along that line, tropical scenes and things like that. But one of the paintings is bleeding. Sebastian, what is the painting of? Like, what is the painting that's bleeding?
Painting that's bleeding. I hope you guys are cool with this. Is that of a group of old agents? Like we're talking like imagine the FBI from like the 50s or the 40s or whatever. So they've got the dated hats and everything like that. And it's an old sort of like um, oil painting of the founding members of the division, back then known only as the Bureau.
So the key is that the painting is the painting that gently bleeds. But as you look at it, or as you notice it, as you find it, you realize that something large and invisible is coming out of the painting. What do you do?
I will. Is the blood coming from the edges or through the orifices? It's that kind of game, huh?
Just gonna say generally that the painting is bleeding. Not gonna specify whether that's from orifices or not.
I'm so sorry. If that was a line or a veil for someone, my apologies. Oh gosh. Is Dr. Escher still there?
Yeah. She doesn't seem to have noticed any of the chaos that's unfolding around you. She's still just offering Zero the double chalk that she scooped out for you.
Is there I hate to sound like a D&D player, but is there an imminent threat from the bleeding of this painting?
The bleeding painting itself is not a danger, but whatever invisible thing has oozed out of the painting, that's a problem for you.
All right. In which case, I. Whew, whew. You know what?
I mean, you're feeling vicious at the moment. Surely
Yeah.
you want to attack it.
I do. You know what? Sure. Let's try to think. Let's try to cleanse the paint. That's the problem is visualizing an attack that isn't just destroy the painting.
Well, you are feeling vicious.
I am. But what I'm doing is I'm going to sort of like with great fury try to cleanse, and it's not a gentle cleanse. It's like a scourging cleansing of the blood from the painting or the ooze or whatever it is. So let's do that.
Well, I think that's power through darkness.
I keep forgetting whether it's power or unleash. It sounds like unleash.
I think of unleash as more like a direct attack or an attempt to influence someone or something like that. Whereas trying to do something that's less direct. So when you say cleanse the painting, I think of that more like, you're not attacking the painting. You're trying to use your powers in an unusual way.
Sure.
So that's how I understand the distinction.
All right. Let's see. We are going to spend 1 darkness token this time because clearly I've been blowing my wad. Although, I guess that's embodying a condition. So taking that into account, ready to roll 2d6 plus 1. 9. Thank God.
You use your powers with great precision and effect. Do you want to describe what it looks like?
I think from the what happens is Sebastian loosens his collar and pulls his shirt slightly open, and from there a cleansing light comes out and he proceeds to trace over the blood and scourge it, and you can tell it's very overwhelming. Like he feels pain from trying to do it as well.
All right. Asag, have you just been hanging out, thinking about what's up while this is all going on, or what are you doing?
Yeah, basically. But then Asag sort of gets a handle on what's going on. Remembers there are these scissor men all around, and thinks, "Oh no, I should deal with these." Asag is a god. Asag reacts with arrogance, feels others are beneath them. Might be a better way to put that. Asag certainly feels that these scissor men are beneath them, as much as they do have a pang of fear, which is unusual. So Asag is going to crush them with their divine power, or attempt to, at least.
Just your regular divine power, or will you use one of the weapons that has been hidden away here?
I am going to use one of the weapons that has been hidden away here, since we are in the weapon storage place and all.
Mm-hmm.
Was the statue of the office worker a weapon, or was it just...
It can be it's a key, but it can also be a weapon if you want to wield it like that.
Yeah, I think Asag is going to wield it as a weapon. So Asag picks it up and starts channeling their divine power through it, using it for whatever it's good for, going by the feel.
Mm-hmm.
And is going to try and destroy these scissor men, these impetuous creatures, for daring to provoke them.
Well, I think that will be power through darkness as well.
Yes. So I'm going to spend 3 tokens. Do, do. Do, do, do. And that is a 10.
You use your powers with great precision and effect, changing the situation before you. What does it look like?
What does it look like? Well, it looks like this statue, from the blue eyes of the office worker clutching his keyboard, just a beam of harsh light comes out, a harsh opaque light, and it burns where it touches, and it touches a scissor man, and you can sort of smell not burning flesh but burning something as it contacts, and the creature sort of recoils in pain at the heat, but it is very effective.
Nice. And so on an 8 to 10, I can also give you a golden opportunity, I think is the wording. And I think that, well, I'm not sure that a SAG will consider this a golden opportunity, but a lot of the scissormen were clustered in the surveillance room. So if you were looking for somewhere that you could play the Betamax tape to make it functional as a clue, you know now the way to go or how to get there. Do you tell the others, anything about what you suspect is going on?
Sorry, is that for me?
No, sorry, I was asking Josh.
Oh. That I think that they've cleared out of the security room.
Well, also that you think it's your, ancient rival Quolam.
Oh, yes.
That's behind all this.
I
Yes,
do.
we were curious.
Asag does bring this up to be polite. Now that Asag is snapped out of their sort of, funk, I guess, and is brandishing this statuette, they yell, "My rival, Kolam, the god of deception, he's come for me. I knew that he would not leave me in the iron tomb where I left him."
But Saab, is there any reason to fear him? Surely you're not saying you're afraid.
Kolam is cruel, and he is deceivious. He is that's not a word. He's devious and deception something.
Something dark side.
Yes. Kolam is an evil god of an evil people. There is always reason to fear Kolam. It is why I locked him up, and why it is not good that his presence has somehow escaped.
So Sebastian lights a cigarette, and saying, "So what you're saying to us is, it's not so much that Corlan could truly make you perish and suffer, but rather the consequences of his actions could harm the people of this world."
Well, he could also probably make me perish and suffer, but hopefully it won't come to that. I think he is more cruel than anything else, but he probably has revenge on me. That is why he's here, I would assume, for the Iron Tomb. So I would be cautious, since you are associated with me.
Your secret's with us.
So at this point, you have 7 keys on a 6 complexity mystery. So if you wanted to put together a theory and roll, you'd be rolling at +1,
Yeah.
which seems to have been working pretty well.
I think that this is theorizing that it is Kolam come back.
So
Can we also make it that if anybody decides to like open the door, I've got this Betamax tape here. Can we like also establish it in the fiction that when we do that, we find a Betamax player here in this diner to do that with?
I don't think there's a Betamax player in the diner. It's a 50s diner. They didn't have Betamax until the 80s, right?
Yeah, they didn't know.
Yeah, just interferes with my suspension of disbelief too much for there to be a Betamax player in the 50s diner.
I hope it was a collage of 20th century crap. But go.
So I was just going to say that the specific things that you have to theorize when you unlock Doom's door are what the door is and how to unlock it. So we know who's doing it. It can be anything. It can be whatever you can imagine. But yeah, tell us about what those clues suggest the door might be.
Let's see.
Well, I think that the door is. Well, I would have suggested the painting. Something to do with the painting that John went through.
The photos.
The photos, yeah, that John went through. But also, we don't want to drag John back in because he is gone, objectively. So I think that.
I have a theory.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I've had absolutely no experience with opening Doom's door in previous sessions of Apocalypse Keys, so help me out if I'm like overstating things here. But I think that Corlan seeks to take control of the division and create sort of an apocalypse within that traps its people, all the people, in sort of a bureaucratic hell. You know what I mean? So that people are forever trapped to labor and suffer through labor. So the office worker embracing a keyboard and the impossible staircase, they're all like sort of like a twisted, perverted version of the vision that cages people. And I'd also like to think that Corlan is actually my forgotten god who supposedly died, but has now been reincarnated as Corlan, and seeks to punish the world and enslave it for all that he has suffered.
Does the Sarg know that Sebastian was a servitor of his arch rival?
I don't think. Well, actually, Josh should declare that. But the way I see it is that Sebastian didn't know until today. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't draw the link between Corlan and Sebastian's god until today.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing that you still need to theorize, though, is what specifically is the door that Qualam is trying to open, and what does Qualam have to do to open it?
Any ideas, Zero, Asad?
The keyboard and the Betamax, more than the other. Well, I guess the staircase too. It made me think like maybe the building's electrical system is the door. Everything's plugged into it, or it runs through things like the stairs. And maybe there is just one specific plug that Column needs to plug a key into, and that'll unfold the door.
I love that, and I hope the visual is that it's an actual key. You know how if you stick a metal object like a penny or in a socket, it's not good. Let's make it that they want to stick a literal key into a socket and short circuit the entire place.
All right. Well, that sounds like a theory. Is everyone happy with that theory? Well, then one of you will need to roll 2d6 plus 1.
Anyone
All of us
feeling
being
good?
sweating emoji gifs. I nominate Drew, honestly.
Oh no. All right. Phew.
Oh,
What was that? What was that?
That was a 4.
the door
that a
remains
bad
hidden. The theory was the wrong one. Every PC marks one ruin.
Yay,
addition-
ruin.
Oh,
In addition, precious time is lost and the doomsday clock ticks forward.
Yes.
Sorry, Drew, were you going to say something?
sorry, I'm full on ruin. I forgot. I marked my last one at the end of last session.
All right, well, let's take a 10-minute break here and we'll come back and find out what has happened exactly.
Yay.
And you can figure out your ruin move. So yeah, come back about 10 minutes past the hour.
So that theorize went well. That was awesome.
Yeah, I had the second last session of a Brindlewood Bay campaign last week, and they rolled theorize like for what should have been the last time in the whole campaign to, expose the dark conspiracy that's behind everything. Everything had like built to this big moment, and they blew the roll for like the first time in weeks and weeks.
Oh man, that's brutal.
But I used I don't know how well you know Brindlewood Bay, but there's a keeper reaction called cut to a commercial, which essentially just lets you as the keeper like correct them, like move them to a 10 plus. So we did that, and it was a nice, satisfying note to end the session on.
That's great.
It's like, oh geez, you guys, your timing is terrible.
That blew my player's mind when I pulled that the first time.
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying.
It is. Also, that's a great way just to extend the tension there a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this coming Saturday is going to be the last session of that campaign, so I'm feeling pretty excited.
Good.
They've learned that the dark ritual to summon the child of Persephone will take place in a secret chamber beneath the Museum of Brindle Dolls. And I just feel like they weren't going to come up with a better theory than that. So that one was going to be right one way or the other. Sorry, go on.
No, I just wanted to say I love walking in on this, on you just saying, I just learned a dark ritual, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, great out of context stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is everyone good to continue? All right. So you've put this theory together. You don't yet know that it's wrong. Your characters don't. So I think that what I'd like to suggest is that, there was a specific plug that you believed had to be plugged in. Maybe we could say that was in the surveillance room and that's where you've headed, so that you can also resolve your Betamax clue, as well as finding out that the end of the world is not located there. However, what's it called? The Doomsday Clock has ticked that little bit closer to midnight, and the oldest fears have broken past the decaying seals that were holding them in. These are Quolam's most powerful servants, long since separated from this world. I guess I'll ask each of you. There are 3 of these oldest fears. What are their names? What are the fear that they each embody? Asag, they're your old enemies. Let's start with you. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I guess we won't be starting with Asag. The oldest fear, internet disconnection.
That was a big old notebook lock from.
Well, Matthew, what? Let's start with you then. What is one of the oldest fears?
One of Sebastian's oldest fears, I think, is even though he theoretically lives forever, he's afraid of the fear of his fear and everyone's fear would be to be alone.
Fear of being alone. Here we go. Josh is back.
Sorry about that. Not sure
I mean, if you don't want to answer my questions, you can just say you don't.
No, sorry, I'm not. I have no idea what just happened. My
I said that Asad noble clocked his way out of there.
no, my browser crashed. I had to reopen it. But I think that the first fear is obscurity.
And Matthew just established that one of them is the fear of being alone.
Oh shit! That was
I think
that's basically what I meant.
No,
but
I think they're good. I think
the
they're
fear
both
of
fun.
not being remembered.
Not being remembered.
That's pretty cool too. Not being remembered, being forgotten.
Yeah, that is a better way to. The fear of being forgotten is a better way to put it.
I like obscurity as a name. That works for me. And Drew, what's the third of the oldest fears?
Going real primal here. Darkness.
So, darkness, obscurity, and being alone are now stalking the halls of Division, looking for you all. Before you leave for the surveillance room, what do you do about the weapons cache? Like, it's pretty big and cumbersome. Are you going to try and drag it all along with you, or what are you going to do? Zero, you left it here. What's your thought?
Well, they know where it is now if the scissorman found it.
I say we take that which can destroy us with us, so that it can't be wielded against us, and leave the rest of the cash. At least we can ensure that during our fight that we can protect it with it and not worry about that which is particular to us.
Or we should rotate it so everyone's carrying someone else's. Has nothing to do with what the darkness demands of me.
Are you out of character? Are you kidding? Or is that what the darkness demands of you?
The darkness demands that I destroy my friends before they destroy me. But also, if we have not our weapons on us, someone who gets to one of us can't destroy it. Or can't destroy us.
I hate it when you use common sense.
So is that what you'll do? You'll rotate the weapons and bring them with you?
Yeah, well, I don't know how we're going to haul a sarcophagus.
Yeah, I mean, that requires, that a Sarg trusts one of you to drag around a clay sarcophagus that can bind them, which I think is a stretch.
Yeah, I think that because a Sarg is currently bound in a mortal form, a Sarg is able to carry their own sarcophagus. But in a Sarg's true divine intangibility, they would have to trust someone to carry the sarcophagus, which is why it's the High Priest's child.
Alright. So a Sarg's going to carry their own sarcophagus. Zero, you're the only one I haven't asked yet. What's the weapon that can destroy you?
I think it's a mask. And if it were put on him, it would put him into, stasis.
All right. And are you and Sebastian going to exchange weapons? Or are you going to take your own?
Zero would definitely advocate for switching.
Sebastian, you're into that?
Yeah.
All right.
It is likely a child's sarcophagus, I should say. So.
Oh, okay.
because the high priestess was also a child in this cult. So, makes it a little bit easiger.
Is
I
it
just
like, are
wanted
you
to-
gonna like strap it to your back, or how are you carrying it?
Like under the arm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm. I felt like a boombox.
Yeah, like a boombox. Probably shifting it around. It gets heavy.
Mm.
All right.
It's very
So
anime.
Sebastian, I think that at this point you can pilot this elevator wherever you need it to take you in the building.
Yeah.
You can pick your way through the broken glass of the window that it crashed through to get in here, and then head to the surveillance room. Is that the plan?
Yeah. A sort of a glass and concrete surfer, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you arrive in the surveillance room, and you see dozens of screens flickering in unison, each one showing what is sort of labeled or marked as a live feed. There's one empty seat that's covered in blood, and on these like different live feeds, you all see some sort of past versions of yourselves on those screens. I'm going to ask each of you, what do you see your past self doing that shocks you? Sebastian, why don't you go first? What is past Sebastian doing that shocks you?
Um. Whew. I think the past Sebastian um, has taken up Islam and is hoping that by sort of preaching or practicing a faith that he did not originate from, that he did not take stock of it, that he would attract the attention of someone, but of someone who answers, to that faith. And I mean, like the divine power that answers to that faith. And he received no response, but he kept doing it for centuries, believing, you know, he would find something.
Nice. Zero, what do you see past Zero doing that is shocking?
I think we see someone who looks a lot like Zero, huddled in a corner of a really rundown building with some heavy drug paraphernalia nearby, and he is just entirely zonked out in his own world.
And Asag?
Yeah, Asag, you see humbled. You see Asag lying, branded, withered, immediately after they were thrown down from heaven. Their weakest point, a point that they have been running from ever since.
Nice. But you also all see various different like playback mechanisms, including everything from an 8-track, laserdisc, DVD, projector, the works, uh, including of course a Betamax player. Sebastian, do you want to play the video?
Sure. Draws it from his pockets or his coat pocket and pops it in.
Do you turn the lights out?
I don't see any need to.
Okay. So let's see. When played, it shows what appears to be an instructional government video with a cheerful host in a somewhat old-fashioned suit explaining how to handle a soul reassignment. So that is now open to you as a clue. It talks you through the soul reassignment procedure. reassures you that your fears about soul reassignment are ill-founded and that the government has everything under control.
No.
What do you do? I think it's clear at this point as well that the Doom's Door isn't here. Whatever you were thinking, like it's you can see the plug that you thought might be the key. It's just a plug. It's lying on the floor. Nobody's trying to plug it in.
Do we still have the files on us? The dossier?
If you brought it with you.
Yeah, maybe we can flip through it and see if there's any evidence of what the soul reassignment. Which of them are involved with the soul reassignment?
I mean, you can if you want. Like at this point, you're rolling theorize at +2 if you want to have another go at it. If you get any more clues, you're going to be rolling at +3, which starts to get like dangerously high. Although obviously you can do that if that's what you want.
I have no working theories yet, so I leave it to the floor.
Asag, do you feel ready to theorize, or do you need more information first? Are you muted?
Yeah, I can slap together a theory, I think.
All right. Now that you realize that the key's not here, what do you think?
Now that I've realized the key's not here, I think that the door is I think that the door is the bleeding painting, and I think that the key to unlock it is to ritually flagellate ourselves for Colum, because he in order to trick Colum into letting us get near him, we must debase ourselves and make him think that we are worshippers.
Wow. So the plan is to try and lure him in by pretending to worship him with self-flagellation.
Yes.
How is that Kolam's plan? Like, how does he plan to open the door?
Well, Colum plans to open the door by having his worshippers flagellate in front of, and summon him in. But his three fears probably are, I believe, the worshippers of Colum. But there are three of us, and if we ambush him,
So I guess the risk with this theory is that you might open Doom's Door yourselves, if that's what it would take to open it.
Yes,
but
that is a danger.
What do others think of this theory?
It works. Let's roll better than the last one.
Well, if this is correct, you have left Doom's Door unprotected. But go ahead, and I think Asag should roll this time.
Yeah.
2d6 plus 2.
Fair enough. What was that? That is a
11.
11. You reach the door moments after the harbinger has unlocked it. They've begun to harness the power on the other side of the door, but there is still time to stop them. The keeper will tell you what sacrifice or risk you will need to endure to interrupt their ascension. So, let's see. Actually, if it's all right, I know we had a break pretty recently, but can we take a 5-minute break and I'll try and set up something interesting for a climax?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right. Take your time.
So let's come back at 11:32. Oh, sorry, right. 32 past the hour.
11:32 or, sorry, 9:32?
Yeah, sorry, 32 minutes past the hour. It's 11:32 for me, but probably not for any of you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right. Thanks for bearing with me. Are we all good to continue? All right. So, You start rushing back to the ice cream shop, but you realize on your way there in the elevator that Quolam has already unlocked Doom's Door and is using that power to rewrite reality, rewrite history, rebuild the timeline to his liking. You feel everything changing around you. You feel that you've kind of arrived in a new timeline. It falls heavily on you. At first, feeling so wrong, but, quickly starting to feel natural. It's hard to cling to that feeling that this is not how things are meant to be. You just sort of have this nagging feeling that things aren't quite right. But it feels mostly like this is how things have always been. And so, Division's monstrous agents in this new timeline, Zero and Sebastian and Quolam, rush towards the ice cream shop where Asag has just opened Doom's Door. Asag, this is wrong. This is not how things should be. It's somehow part of Quolam's plan. That's clear to you. But also, you've just opened Doom's Door. You're at the peak of your powers. If you're ever going to be in a position to storm heaven and kill all the gods, it's probably now. I wonder if you are torn between what the darkness demands and saving the world.
I certainly am. I must be.
All right. Well, have a look at the torn between move on the basic moves tab.
Okay.
You get to make a choice.
I'm gonna. Asag lets their monstrous nature show. I will describe the damage my outburst causes.
All right. So the elevator doors open in front of you, and you see Zero and Sebastian and Quolam.
Yeah. Asag bursts into this dimension, right? Asag sees Quolam, and Asag is mad. Quolam threatens Asag in a way that a mortal is a nuisance, right? Asag recovered from has mostly recovered from their spats with mortals that put them in this state, but quarreling with a god is dangerous. And Kolam started this quarrel long ago, and Asag will end this quarrel. So Asag bursts through the elevator into this strange, not entirely accurate reality, and grasps Kolam by the throat with long, spidery, sharp fingers, and to all of you, this seems like, I suppose, that the evil monster is assaulting your good god friend. So,
yeah, I mean, the other thing, Asag, that may make this even more worrying for you is that Quolam is, of course, carrying the sarcophagus that can bind you still, as he has been for some time now.
Yeah.
Zero and Sebastian, you see this enemy god attacking your ally, but also you do have this feeling that something is fundamentally wrong about this situation. Zero, what do you do?
I think he initially goes to do a Jean Grey-esque mind blast, but he is sensitive to the surface thoughts and feelings of those around me and picks up on something and thus reacts with uncertainty and hesitates. Nice. And I'll take 3 tokens for that.
All right.
And then I think I'd like to do a deep dive there.
All right. Whose thoughts are you deep diving on?
Picking up on Asog's thoughts, I think he'll turn it against Kolam.
All right. What's the move called again?
You can't hide your heart from me.
Yes. And how does it work?
I'm going to deepen my senses to see what's under the surface of Kolam's thoughts. And so I roll with darkness tokens, and I think I'll do 2.
Ooh. On an 11 plus, their mind bleeds into yours. Choose one above, and they will choose one you must answer. So go ahead and ask one of those, or choose one above.
I'll ask what Kolam is hiding.
Well, of course, you find out that Kolam is actually your enemy and has rewritten all of reality. That all of your memories now are suspect. That Asag is truly your ally, and that you can't trust Kolam. Let's see, what will he ask you? I think that he'll ask you, what do you wish would happen?
Zero wishes that division is no more.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mute myself.
Not at all. Very timely. So let me ask you now, Sebastian. You have the vicious condition marked, so you are not, it seems to me, in a position to stop and think things through. And an evil god is attacking your ally. What will you do?
Not a position. So no temptations, no dark beckonings from this god. He's too preoccupied with
Asag is just attacking your good ally Kolam.
Wait, my good ally Kolam? Oh no.
Yeah, all of reality has been rewritten.
All right. So here it goes. I guess I would be torn between, wouldn't I?
Oh, are you? What are you torn between?
I'm torn between calling. So I think am tempted by what the darkness demands of me, right? And what the darkness demands of me is to punish this world. And I think that what Koram is doing is its own punishment against the world, regardless of whether or not he was my god or not, in the fiction. I think Sebastian will believe that what Koram does to the world might be deserved. So,
the new version of the world might be better than the old one. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what will you choose from the torn between options?
Let your monster's nature show, and describe the damage your outburst causes. Yeah. I think what happens is, okay, so here's what happens. Sebastian walks up to Koram, and as he does, he sort of like slowly turns his head to face Asag. And then he stands by Koram's side, and once again, a wave of energy pulses from Sebastian, and it's more intense and it's more violent, and you feel like a darker hue is coming from it. So it sort of like tears apart the diner. And
Mhm.
maybe when that wave knocks the diner flat around, what emerges from it is like parts of the structure that reform to be shaped according to what Corlam sees fit. So it's almost as if Sebastian is clearing the way of this structure, so that Corlam can exert his will on it.
Nice. So, Sebastian, it seems to me if you are one of Quolam's like ancient servants, and his most powerful servants are the ancient fears, which of those ancient fears are you? Are you, in fact, obscurity, being alone, or darkness?
I think I am obscurity.
Nice.
That I am the cleansing, that I seek to become the cleansing agent that erases all history so that it conforms to Korlam's vision. And there is no room in that history, as far as Korlam is concerned, for someone like Asag. P.S. I did not foresee this betrayal. Sorry, guys. I did not.
I wonder if you will all just decide to destroy the world at as the conclusion to this session. But Asag, you're tearing into Quolam. Do you? I mean, that seems like unleashing the dark. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I think I am unleashing the dark. I think that is an accurate statement. I'm also going to... But I think that I'm actually doing less to Kolam, throttling him because he is a god. So we're pretty even physically, when our mortal forms clash. And instead, Asag turns to her friends, who they now realize they're on the opposite side of, and Asag says, "Kneel, mortals! You are making a mistake." And I'm going to just mark ruin, and take an 8 to 10 because I took, when I exceeded my ruin earlier in the session, a ruin move entitled "Tremble Before Me." My words once swayed gods and broke the gates of heaven. When you speak in your true and ancient voice, all living mortals are driven to despair. So I can just say, no, I'm being a little bit evil, and get a very good success when I make commands of people.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I'm being a little bit evil, and I am demanding that you kneel and you stop this assault on a being who is just helping you. And I get to pick 4 results.
Yeah.
So I get what I want from them. I avoid reprisals, harm or cost. I gain the upper hand for now, and I expose a weakness or flaw. I do all of those things.
Nice.
All the
Power
things.
of being a little bit evil.
So let me just check, Sebastian. Are you mortal?
I think there's room for that. I think the way I see it is Sebastian can be killed, but he can live forever.
Okay, so mortal
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
Mortal-ish.
it's only through his divine power that he's able to shield any damage. But if he was disempowered and somebody shot him through the heart, that would be something else.
I think that
Also, it's just cooler to like play along.
You might not be mortal, but you are certainly living.
Yes.
You are certainly living in the sort of way that a god sort of works on, right? Because you are a worshiper of sorts. So I think that this would probably work on Sebastian.
All right.
Yeah, 100%. God's put me in this flesh cage.
And I think that where Sebastian had blasted away the walls of the ice cream shop, you now all find yourselves on the stage of a large theatre where a big Vegas-style musical number is taking place. Dozens of dancers in this kind of Busby Berkeley routine, some human, some monstrous, all of them are just having a wonderful time. But Asag, what is the weakness that you reveal or expose?
I think that Asag reveals that Kolam's control over his disciples, over his reality, is not as strong as he thinks it is. Kolam has summoned, in Kolam's desire for world domination, he has created this alternate timeline wherein he is the trusted god to take advantage of that. But sort of Inception style, Asag has entered his dream and is taking it over. So I think that we're sort of now lucid dreaming in this alternate world of Kolam's.
Mm-hmm. Zero, you are compelled to kneel. The gods are battling it out before you. You also, you sense that the power of Doom's Door is not fully sort of consecrated to Qualam yet, that others may be able to seize control of the reality warping effects that he's unleashed. What do you do?
But it actually turns out that when I hit Max Ruin, I took the move Let Sleeping Gods Lie. Zero's not so mortal.
Oh.
Zero is the dreams of a sleeping god forced into a body. And I think I will use that move, if that's okay.
Yeah, tell us about the move. That sounds amazing.
So I am going to reach out to my true self and take back some of their destructive power. So I mark 2 ruin and 2 on a playbook specific clock. The dream ends. And I wield the cosmic dreams of terror like the sharpest weapon, and I will inflict a specific vulnerable target with horrifying hallucinations and bring to life one of their nightmares. In addition, gain 1 bond with my true and cosmic form.
Amazing. Is it Qualam that you're targeting?
It is. Knowing that he's done this to us has awoken something in Zero.
Mm. That's amazing. I just am overwhelmed by this move. Incredible. Do you have an idea of what Qualam's nightmares are?
I feel like it would be a much more powerful Asag. So I'm hoping that this will empower Asag.
Yeah. Well, Sebastian, what do you have for that?
So this is what happens. Sebastian is I forgot what the words are. The words escape me, but basically he is remorseful. He is apologetic, from and by kneeling, he presents himself in sort of like apology and submission. And when he does, he says, I am sorry. I forgot that you are true. And he puts his hands together, and you can see, because he went into a fury mode earlier, you can see his beauty just sort of like come off in waves and revert back to his mortal face, and he creates a weapon for Asag, imbued with the powers of darkness that are Sebastian's, and Asag, like, what shape would this take, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that this is a crown.
Ooh, yes, that's better. Oh my god, a crown is much better than any, handheld implement.
Yeah. No, this is a crown for Asag.
Sure.
And Asag takes the crown, uh, and
And that is.
the crown finds itself on Asag's head. It is like,
Mm.
it is a match made for heaven.
So
And
this is the blood of my covenant move. In case that wasn't apparent, but I think Josh understood that.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, go on with your description. I'm intrigued.
yeah, and Asag is radiant. In the sense that Asag is literally radiating waves of of energy. Right, there is a divine presence around Asag that sort of draws one towards Asag, makes one grateful to Asag, almost just by the fact that Asag is there before them. Um, but and the crown just amplifies this like tenfold. This feeling around them, and Asag is going to.
So can I help out with that one? Like, I'll say that when you're strengthened with this power, you have access to a new power of darkness, which is angelic fury and beauty. You may draw from this new power of darkness when you wield a weapon, or wield the crown rather, and when wielding it, you can destroy it as a cost complication or an amiss. And I want to say, like, what the crown does also is it's sort of like it attunes you to the very energy of belief that angels use to support their gods. So you are, even if there are angels out there who are sleeping or, dispersed, you feel that sort of like divine support, almost as if you are getting like the full peak of your godhood that you forgot, returning to you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that this is another moment wherein Asag is torn between their monstrous nature
Yeah.
and human heart, and they're tempted by what the darkness demands of you. And of course, what the darkness demands of Asag is to storm heaven and to kill all of the gods. Uh, and I think that in this moment they give in and they let their monstrous nature show. And there is a god in front of them, a petulant little god who thought that he was bigger than he was, and now he is going to pay the price. Because what Colum has done functionally, by positioning Asag as the interloper in this universe to try to make himself a hero, because he thought that he could be a hero to these mortals. He thought that he could use them and become loved by them. Is he made himself weak like a human being, and now he put Asag in the shoes of a god, and he will regret this. So Asag is going to attempt to destroy Colum in entirety, and that
Yeah.
is the letting the monster out.
Nice. So, I mean, I think that's an Unleash the Dark. So, Quolam is beset by hallucinations of an like unusually powerful Asag, an even more powerful Asag, and beset in reality by an even more powerful Asag. It is a
Yes.
bad time to be Quolam.
Yes, using the crown, the power given to me by the crown, and I'm going to spend 3 tokens. So I will spend 3 tokens. Do. and that is a 10.
Oh, nice. Choose 2.
So is that in Unleash the Dark, or is that a Power Through Darkness?
I was thinking of it as Unleash the Dark.
Okay.
But I think, with the fictional positioning and the kind of time we're at in this 4-session run, I'm happy for you just to describe like what final fate you impose on Quolam.
Okay.
Is he? Yeah. What do you do to him?
Yeah, I think that Asag absorbs Kolam. You do not really see. It is difficult for mortal eyes to fathom what is happening. Zero understands a little bit better what is happening than Sebastian does. And what is happening is that Asag is feeding on Kolam, right? Asag has, because of Kolam's paranoia and his positioning and his stupid human-like plan, he has set himself up for failure, and Asag is, with every moment, a blinding light covers the area. It literally hurts to look at. Even like the mortal body that Asag inhabits is sort of like blinded. The body is blinded, but Asag is not, by these lights. And inside, Kolam is shrinking as his body, as his mortal form is emptied of the divinity that inhabits it. And that divinity is sort of disassembled into its component parts, the raw materials of divinity, and then consumed by Asag to make Asag stronger. And I'm going to say that this probably does something good for me if I scroll down a little bit. I'm going to say that this is killing the one being who can stop me. Because only a god can kill a god for real. And Kolam, well, now I have just killed Kolam. There is no more Kolam. If someone tries to worship Kolam, they do not worship, they worship me by the transitive property at this point.
Yes.
All right. So I think that as you absorb the divinity from Kolam, the effects of what he'd done start to recede. The door closes. The strange dream world in which you'd found yourself starts to unravel, and all of you find yourselves sitting right back where all this started, in the briefing room at Division. Even the memories of what's just happened relatively quickly fading away, except for the lasting consequences, for your divinity, Asag, and for yours, Zero. And even for yours, Sebastian, really. And the door to the briefing room opens, and Kilroy from the business department comes in, and he happily announces that it's time for the paperwork workshop and seminar that he had prepared, that you had discussed earlier. And he's joined by his intern, just a very young man in an ill-fitting suit. And all of you, just for a few more moments, will recognize him as the mortal remains that was once Kolam, now just a nervous child playing at bureaucracy. And that's where we'll finish, except for epilogues. So I would love to just hear each of you tell us, quickly, a scene. What happens to your agent after you wrap up the infiltration of Division? Let's go right to left across the character keeper. So I'm not sure who's that first. Sorry, too many tabs.
I think right to left would be me first.
Yes, thank you.
So I think that you see Asag in their sparse room, in their spare room. Sparse. and you see them standing in there, and the door is closed behind them, and the camera that points in the room towards the bed at all times has been covered up, and it's broken now. The cell keeps breaking it; they keep replacing it, but right now it is broken, and Asag sits, and where the crown sat on Asag's head, you start to see the crown become visible again. It's sort of, it's not there, but it is there. I think it has been there the whole time, is the thing. And in the briefing room, it had just been hidden. And something about Asag had made everyone eager to overlook it. But now that Asag is on their own, Asag sort of shows the crown again. It reveals itself, and Asag smiles, and that is very unusual. Asag is not a smiler.
Nice. Zero, what's your epilogue?
I think in the immediate post mission days, he'd put the picture with Kronos trapped in it up on his wall, and had tried doing what he could to free Kronos. But one day, I think he doesn't show up for a session with Dr. Escher, and she comes by his quarters to see what he's up to, and she finds the room empty. He's not there. The picture is off of the wall, and all that's left is a broken mask, and no Zero.
Ah, how mysterious. And Sebastian.
I'd say that when Asag turns around in his cell, letting the crown show, reminding people that, he is serving as a reminder that, he's here because he chooses to be, that he is a god and that he can leave at any time. I think Sebastian walks up to the cell, or that cell, the room, and sort of stands outside, and another agent comes by and brings Asag's favorite tea, or favorite drink, if you will, and he takes the tray from him and enters the room, and Asag and Sebastian look out the window together, and you can see Asag's waves of divine energy, of Korlan, of his internal essence, and everything, just sort of commingling to create this golden band throughout the air. And you see that when the camera pans up and Sebastian is handing the drink to Asag, his face is beautiful once more, and it seems to have stayed that way, almost as if the renewed splendor of Asag has attracted Sebastian's true essence, and he has become more like an angel once more, ready to serve and stand by the side of the god Asag. And that's really
Nice.
good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I would love to just do a quick round of stars to finish up, if that's okay. So we won't do wishes because this is our last session. But let's just go back the other way across the character keeper. So Matthew, can I get you to go first?
Yeah, stars to everybody for really going maximum 11 today, and having real I think we all did well in carrying forward some of the most exciting and dramatic nuggets of our characters. I also had a blast with the idea that we failed with the door once before doing better later. And I love the aesthetic that you put together, Shane, for this entire session. This very surrealist nature. I don't know if that's written in the text because I'm a jerk. I haven't read all of my partner's stuff, but those were definitely great touches. What else is there?
Thank you for running, Shane.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yikes. I just think that we really, I have to admit I was a little worried before we started, like whether we would really bring everything to a satisfying conclusion. But I think, I'm super happy with how this all turned out. So yeah, great job everybody for almost bringing about apocalypse and bringing it and then and repelling it, which is way more exciting than nipping it in the bud.
Nice, thank you. Drew?
I'd agree with Matthew there. The climax there we just kind of fell into it, and it worked out really well. I liked the way that everyone's stories and the way we kind of wove everything together in some cool ways, and seeing a SOG kind of take the point there and with Sebastian's support and with Zero's revelation was a really cool way to wrap up this little series. And the whole thing was a lot of fun. Thank you, Shane, for running it. And it was great. All the stars.
Thanks. And Josh?
Yeah, I had a wonderful time at our last session. I really enjoyed giving Apocalypse Keys a try. I thought it sounded like a very interesting project, and I wanted to sort of try it out. And I'm very glad I had a chance to play in a few sessions, and I thought it was wonderful. And I thought that all of my players and my game facilitator Shane did a wonderful job, and I enjoyed it a lot. I really love the character interaction and just the sort of like incredibly powerful people working for incredibly not powerful people dynamic. It's fun. It's really Hellboy, and it really hits that perfectly. Love it. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, thanks everyone. I had a great time running it. I really like this game, and just like you were saying, super cranked up power level. Mostly I play games where the characters are on a much sort of more humble, modest sort of scale, and it was really fun to just let everything go completely wild. I had a great time. I look forward to running this game more in future and playing with all of you in future. I'm just going to end the recording now.